very much. What a pleasure to be here with you today. First of all, Commissioner Cardis, dear Costas, Excellencies, Ministers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to be here with, as you've said, so many outstanding people, skippers, scientists, students, startup pioneers, just to name a few. And we are all united in a common commitment to protect the ocean. Because we all know that for us Europeans, the ocean is central to our way of life. It feeds us, it gives us renewable energy to warm our homes, it helps us to protect our nature as the biggest carbon sink, it connects us to the rest of the world, and we all know that at the same time the ocean is under more pressure than ever, from climate change to pollution to illegal fishing. And that's why we must act now with speed and determination. The basis for our success is science. We believe in science. And science tells us about the state of the ocean today and tomorrow. With accurate marine data, we can better understand what happens in the deep sea and in its vast waters. It will allow us to predict the impact of climate change and to prepare us for extreme weather events. And for all these reasons and many good reasons more, last year in Nice, I announced an ambitious ocean observatory initiative, and today it comes to life. We call it Ocean Eye. Ocean Eye will be our window to the ocean and on the ocean, and our key to unlock even more of its secrets. And let me give you a few examples of what we propose. First, we propose and want to discuss with you why we decided to invest in ocean observation. Second, how we will go about it. And third, how this will benefit all of us. To my first point, the more information we have about the ocean, the better we can safeguard its vast natural heritage and protect ourselves. Take, for example, an incident in Venice just a few years ago, and you might know it. One of Europe's most beautiful cities, Venice, was at risk of serious flooding. A massive tidal surge rushed up the Adriatic and threatened to destroy the city. But thanks to a network of data sensors, Venice deployed its flood barriers at the right moment, and the city and its inhabitants were saved. And to ensure this kind of protection all over the globe, we need more data from more locations. Now, let me start, when I say this, with the good news. We already have a network in place. We have sensors right around the world. For example, robot marine drones or gliders. And what I mostly like, even sensors mounted on sea turtles. All this data is fed into powerful computers to give real-time information. And this protects not only against extreme weather events, but also helps our economy. Take, for example, our Atlantic shellfish farmers from Galicia to Ireland. Their biggest concern is algal bloom, which can wipe out an entire crop. Now we can use satellite imagery to forecast the bloom weeks in advance, and this gives our farmers the opportunity to protect their stocks and their livelihood. Now, as I've said, this is the good news. I also have to come to the bad news. This kind of monitoring is not universally available. And there are still monitoring gaps in our European waters. And the global network has recently come under even more pressure. So we need more funding. And with OceanEye, we want to turn the tide. We want to close the gaps and enlarge the global network further, so that OceanEye will lead a new charge for truly global observation search. And this brings me to my second point: how we will get to a reliable observation system. The marine data network must be recognized as vital planetary infrastructure. This will replace the current system of voluntary cooperation with a more structured model, which is properly supported by all its members. And we need to ensure long-term funding. So the European Union will take a first step today. I can announce 50 million euro funding from Horizon Europe for the next 2 years. This is a first step, and in addition, we need commitments from our member states and trusted partners around the world. So today, we are launching an international alliance. An alliance to secure funding from countries, the private sector, and philanthropists. And I am delighted that the Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission has joined Europe in this initiative. We know we all depend on marine data network, and together we can ensure its success. So, ladies and gentlemen, my third point is that OceanEye is a great opportunity for business, research, and academia. And it is, of course, a great opportunity for Europe to be a world leader in marine data. This data has a huge range of commercial applications. For companies, for example, working on robotic drones, or the whole computerized weather predictions, or complex data analysis, you just name it. And I know our cutting-edge firms are leading the way in this exciting sector. A good example for Europe's leadership is the digital twin of the ocean that you can also visit during the Ocean Days. It is a powerful tool, and this powerful tool uses marine data to predict ocean behavior. It's fantastic. I've seen it. I can only recommend. Go and have a look. It can forecast ocean currents, forecast weather patterns, and even forecast the migratory routes of the whales we just saw in that little clip. So the digital twin is at the heart of OceanEye. And we are committed to make it fully operational by 2030. Last but not least, OceanEye is a unique opportunity to bring the wonders and the potential of the sea to our citizens. Because the more we know about the ocean, the more we will cherish it. And perhaps in a few years, we can share its wonders on a board of our own European research vessel. That would be my dream, to have an own European research vessel. Let's work for it. Therefore, my colleagues also think this should be a way to go. So, ladies and gentlemen, OceanEye builds on the good progress we have made in the recent years on ocean governance. Nearly 10% of the ocean is now governed by marine protected areas. That's good, not enough. We have launched the Ocean Pact with clear targets for conservation and economic growth. We have made a breakthrough with the High Seas Treaty to protect deep sea waters. We will adopt the Ocean Act later this year to support OceanEye and will provide a clear governance structure. So you see there's a whole system, governance system in place. We need more, as I said, but now we need all our support, your support and others' support. In the week ahead, Commissioner Cardis will reach out to the potential partners inside the European Union and outside the European Union, basically to ask to pledge your support. By your, I mean the wider community and the wider community's funding. Basically, our call is help us to preserve our ocean for many generations to come. Long live Europe and welcome to the Oceans Days.
Ursula von der Leyen, thank you very much, and great to see that initiative, to hear the details of that initiative. Thank you very much, and good luck with the future projects and the future steps. Thank you very much. Ursula von der Leyen, thank you very much. As I've already mentioned, the Republic of Cyprus, the current holder of the rotating presidency of the European Union. And we know that in May, for example, European Maritime Day is going to be held in Cyprus as well, Limassol, if I'm not mistaken. Let's call to the stage now for some remarks from Marina Hadjimanoulis, the Deputy Shipping Minister from the Republic of Cyprus. Warm round of applause. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Commissioner Cadiz, Honourable Member of the European Parliament, dear Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honour to join you today on behalf of the President of the Republic of Cyprus, Mr. Nikos Christodoulidis, for the opening of the European Ocean Days 2026. I would like to thank the European Commission and DG Mare for convening this flagship gathering, which has become Europe's central platform for maritime affairs and the sustainable blue economy. Our presence here today sends a clear message. The European Ocean Pact marks an important milestone. The challenges we face and the opportunities we have demand that Europe acts together and decisively. The European Ocean Pact marks a turning point. For the first time, all EU ocean-related policies, environmental, industrial, research, transport and security are brought together under a single strategic framework. This coherence is essential. Ocean governance cannot be fragmented. It requires coordination across institutions, sectors and levels, but mainly collaboration with governments, industry, scientists, investors and coastal communities. Under the Ocean Pact, initiatives such as the Industrial Maritime Strategy, the EU Ports Strategy, the Sustainable Tourism Strategy, the Ocean Observation Initiative and the revision of the Maritime Spatial Planning and the Marine Strategy Framework Directive demonstrate the scale of this transformation in how Europe governs its seas. We face a global emergency in our oceans. Climate change, pollution and biodiversity loss threaten food security, energy systems, maritime transport, and the livelihood of coastal communities. Protecting and restoring ocean health must remain the foundation of any sustainable use of marine resources. We must accelerate progress towards good environmental status in all EU marine waters and deliver on our biodiversity commitments, including protecting at least 30% of our seas by 2030, with 1/3 strictly protected. We must also ensure full implementation of the BBNJ agreement and strengthen global ocean governance under UNCLOS. At the same time, sustainability and competitiveness must advance together. Europe's maritime industries, shipping, shipbuilding, ports, fisheries, and aquaculture are strategic assets. We need innovation, decarbonization, investment, and simplified regulatory frameworks that maintain environmental ambition. And ambition is very important. Ports should become hubs of clean energy, circularity, and resilience. Maritime spatial planning must continue to reconcile the competing use of sea space, offshore energy, biodiversity protection, fisheries, transport, and defence, ensuring coherence and coordination and sea basin cooperation across sectors. Ultimately, ocean governance is about our human resource. It is about the people. And we usually forget the people. Resilient coastal and island communities rely on a healthy ocean. Fisheries, aquaculture, maritime transport, offshore energy, and tourism sustain livelihoods and regional economies. Knowledge is key through ocean observation, marine data, research cooperation, and tools such as the European Digital Twin of the Ocean. Investment and resources through the multi-annual financial framework and private funding will determine whether the pact becomes truly transformative. Ladies and gentlemen, with the Council conclusions of the Ocean Pact, Member States have sent a clear political signal. The European Ocean Pact is a shared European commitment, and the upcoming presidencies need to ensure continuity when discussing the European Ocean Pact. Ireland. Now is the moment to act together, translate coherence into action, ambition into delivery, and strategy into results. The ocean connects our climate, our economies, our security, and our global responsibility. Thank you very much, and looking forward to host you all in European Maritime Day in Limassol. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The message from Cyprus. Looking forward to European Maritime Day as well in May. Thank you very much. I mentioned that my name was Seamus. I'm half Irish, so it's with a great honour to welcome our next guest, the Minister from Ireland. In France, where I live, they often call me Seamus. And somebody this morning said to me, how appropriate to have somebody moderating an ocean and sea conference with a name that starts with C, S-E-A. In France, I'm like a sea creature because they pronounce my name like sea mouse, the mouse from the sea, or sea moose, But with Timmy Dooley, Ireland's Minister of State for Fisheries and the Marine, we are known as Seamus. Timmy Dooley, thank you very much. Warm round of applause.
Well, thank you very much, Seamus. It's a pleasure to share such an important occasion, being led and being steered by an Irishman with a very considerable amount of experience around the area. President van der Leyen has gone, but I think her presence here today sends a very strong signal, together with other distinguished guests, including our dear friend Commissioner Callas, who has shown such an interest in the ocean since his appointment, and indeed through his time as a minister. And of course, to colleagues and friends from the ministerial pool, it's great to be with you. From my perspective, Seamus, the surf of the Atlantic Ocean, it sprays on the shores of my very own constituency of County Clare in the west of Ireland, so I was delighted to accept this invitation to be with you today. These European Ocean Days are really a magnificent opportunity for our diverse maritime community to come together and discuss in a collaborative way the implementation of the Ocean Pact under its 6 pillars. And as the challenge has been put down to me by Maria, I look forward in my role in working with you through your presidency, and indeed working our way through our presidency about the continuation of that really important work. It's clear by the agenda set out by the Commission over the coming days that the European Ocean Days are designed to inspire Member States and other key stakeholders to speed up the implementation of the Ocean Pact. It's all well and good to talk about it, but it has been put in place to be implemented and worked through. Ireland is an island nation with a maritime area measuring 7 times the size of our land mass, is exceptionally well placed to drive and support the maritime agenda at EU level. I can assure you that we will use Ireland's presidency of the Council of the European Union to support that implementation of the Ocean Pact in an ambitious, in an efficient and in a pragmatic way. Ireland is acutely aware of the challenges we face in terms of securing and restoring the health of our oceans. I look forward to hearing the discussions on the topic of how we can ensure alignment with EU strategies during our presidency. The health and the sustainability of our seas and ocean is essential to life on the planet, to Ireland's ocean economy and to the wider blue economy, regionally, but really importantly, globally too. Ireland is firmly committed to the protection of the marine environment and seeks to have a clean, healthy, productive and biologically diverse and sustainably used marine area. This is in line with the EU Sustainable Development Goals, the UN Convention on Biological Diversity and indeed the OSPAR Convention and the EU Maritime Strategy Framework. There is also a clear requirement to boost the competitiveness of our sustainable blue economy and a real need to further support our coastal communities, islands and outermost regions. The specific events here this week give stakeholders the opportunity to engage with policymakers and to shape the appropriate responses. The requirement of our ocean research is imperative to support evidence-based decision-making at national and EU level, and I was delighted to look through the agenda and see so many from our state agencies and our government departments participating here during the week, and it shows, I think, a very strong commitment where the Irish Government is at in relation to the Ocean Agenda, the Ocean Pact and ultimately the Ocean Act. Research and innovation is a priority of the Ocean Pact, and the Ocean Research and Innovation Strategy is a core scientific and technological pillar. So in the context of current geopolitical conditions, and in particular Russian aggression against Ukraine, the requirement to enhance EU maritime security is real and immediate, and Ireland is taking steps to bolster its own maritime security. And I was pleased to see just last week that our new maritime security strategy being published. I'm sure the panel later in the week will provide insights into the EU maritime security strategy. And Ireland is committed to ensuring that the EU marine security strategy is reviewed during our presidency. Furthermore, Ireland, like the EU, is fully committed to ocean diplomacy and international governance. And during Ireland's presidency, we will drive the implementation of the Ocean Pact by hosting a conference on the topic during our presidency and supporting the delivery of the Ocean Act. So like Maria, who has sold the virtues of going to Limassol for a Maritime Day, I too would expect and hope that many of you could join us for that event in Ireland. And I understand that the Ocean Pact will be supported by an Ocean Board, which will have its first meeting later this month. And as the role of this high-level expert group will be, as I understand, to advise the Commission on and contribute to the effective implementation of the European Ocean Pact, provide opinions on specific matters related to the Ocean Pact, and importantly too, foster the dialogue among members to encourage coherence and synergy between EU policies and private sector investments. And I think the Commission President has already identified the importance of bringing the private sector together with the NGO sector and, of course, government and the political sector. It will also play a key role supporting, from a high level, the overall objectives of the Ocean Pact. So, as we in Ireland look to our presidency and the preparation of your contributions later today, I call on you to really reflect on why you are here and what we can do better to ensure that the European Ocean Pact is implemented in full. I assure you, just like Ocean Days, Ireland will use our presidency to continue to champion a sustainable blue economy while protecting the health of our oceans and seas, on which the blue economy depends so much. Consistent with our shared values in an ever-changing geopolitical landscape, we will continue to drive competitiveness with a specific consideration of our coastal and island communities. We will continue to lead in the area of research and innovation and support security of Europe's maritime domain. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your presence, for your interest and for your willingness to engage in the important work that you will do over the next number of days. I look forward to meeting many of you again during Ireland's term in the chair of the presidency, and look forward to an achievement by the end of that period. Thank you so much.
Minister Dooley, thank you very much from Ireland. Thank you very much for those comments. I would like to just add also that this is being web streamed. We have people not only in the room but also people at home, in the office. It's being recorded, so all of these remarks, everything that we see with the panels, etc., we have people at home watching, so hello to them as well. Round of applause for all those watching on the web stream. As I said before, I live in France, in Lyon, 30 years almost now in France, so you can almost say that I'm almost French. And it's a great honour to welcome Catherine Chabot, France's Minister Delegate for the Sea and Fisheries, for some opening remarks. Thank you very much.
Dear Commissioner Cadiz, ministers, members of the European Parliament, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to take part in the inauguration of these European Ocean Days as French Minister for the Sea and Fisheries, having advocated during my term as a member of the European Parliament for European Ocean Pact. I'm especially proud to contribute today to its implementation. Through my years of sailing, because Minister, I'm also a sailor, and I know MK. It was a great honor for me to see her here. She's an amazing girl. So through my years of sailing and commitment to the ocean, I have become convinced that humanity's future must be written in partnership with the ocean. The EU's maritime presence across all ocean regions of the globe is a geostrategic asset that we must fully embrace. The European Ocean Pact is a decisive step. For the first time, all EU ocean policies will gather into one coherent framework. It signals that Europe, thanks to the leadership of President von der Leyen, and thank you to her, finally embraces the responsibility and the opportunity that being the first maritime space offers. This leadership must now be translated into an ambitious Ocean Pact Act that should reflect the EU's political ambition to build a true ocean union. These ocean days are the right moment to take stock, to consult, to act together. Protecting the ocean starts with knowing it. The Ocean Observation Initiative presented by President von der Leyen, the Copernicus Marine Service and the European Digital Twin of the Ocean gives us unprecedented tools to model biodiversity loss, track pollution, and assess coastal risk under different climate scenarios. And I like very much the name Ocean Eye that she gives. France is proud to support the institutions that make this knowledge possible. Mercator Océan International is the backbone of the European Digital Twin of the Ocean, and we strongly advocate for its transformation into a full intergovernmental organization, but we need now to ratify it very, very, very quickly. France is also firmly committed to the international platform for ocean sustainability, you know, the IPOS, a precious resource for many countries. More broadly, France has made ocean protection a national and international priority. This commitment is reflected in the 30 by 30 goal, reaffirmed at UNOC 3 in Nice, and in the early ratification of the IC Treaty. It is also embodied in the Neptune mission, mentioned by Ursula von der Leyen, which brings together European research fleets and scientific institutions in a shared scientific endeavour, and which will be a core pillar of the Ocean Observation Initiative, the Ocean Eye. Ladies and gentlemen, our fishers and fish farmers, our ports and maritime industries, our startups and researchers, we all have a stake in a healthy ocean. So let's promote a blue economy that helps regenerate natural and socio-economic ecosystems. I'm also particularly moved to see that this year's programme makes space for the next generation. They deserve to inherit ambition, not apologise. This edition's theme says it all, sustaining the ocean, our global common that sustains us. Let us make these days count. Thank you.
Catherine Chabot, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Thank you for those opening remarks as we launch into Ocean Days. You mentioned MK, the violinist. Did I mention that she is Belgian-American? So in France we say MK, and she's also known as MK. And actually, just as a little surprise, she will be returning onto the stage after these opening speeches. So for all of those who love that opening, those tunes at the beginning with the images, MK will be joining us again. Somebody who needs no introduction for many of you here in the room, the European Commissioner for Fisheries and Oceans, Kostas Kadis. A warm round of applause. Thank you very much.
Dear Ministers, dear members of the European Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends of the ocean, it is a great honor for me to join all of you in opening this third edition of the European Ocean Days. We are here today united by our shared sense of duty and commitment to our ocean and its communities, especially during this period of global instability. I extend my sincere gratitude to President von der Leyen, whose presence here today, this morning, emphasizes the deep and inseparable connection between the future of our ocean and the future of Europe and the well-being of our ocean. Because, as the President just said, the ocean defines Europe. Yet, for too long, our ocean policy was fragmented and lacked a cohesive direction. The European Ocean Pact was a turning point. The Pact is structured in 6 pillars and brings together for the first time under one cohesive and coherent European ocean vision, priorities such as environmental protection, economic competitiveness, support to coastal communities, ocean knowledge, marine security, and international ocean governance. And we have been working full speed to turn this vision into action. Today, I would like to highlight several initiatives included in the Ocean Pact that have already been delivered or are being developed in the year ahead. In the context of the first pillar, the Commission developed the water resilience strategy with a source-to-sea approach. In close cooperation with Commissioner Roosevelt, we are also revising the Marine Strategy Framework Directive to better address the environmental challenges our ocean is facing. In addition, we are promoting the expansion and more effective management of our marine protected areas through a co-management approach, having witnessed the importance of involvement of local stakeholders and especially fishers in the conservation efforts. Under Pillar 2, the evaluation of the Common Fisheries Policy Regulation will provide an evidence-based assessment of whether the regulation remains fit for purpose, looking at all three pillars of sustainable development: economic, social, environmental. Building on the evaluation, the Vision 2040 for fisheries and aquaculture will address the challenges affecting the sector, while the energy transition roadmap will promote energy solutions that preserve our ecosystems, protect the sector from future energy shocks, and stimulate blue economy. The sustainable blue economy will be further boosted through forthcoming Commission initiatives such as the ports and industrial maritime strategies and the sustainable tourism strategy. Under Priority 3, the European Ocean Pact positions the support of coastal areas, islands, and outermost regions as a key priority. This year, we will present strategies related to these regions, focusing on their resilience, economy diversification, and youth engagement. Moreover, responding to requests from Member States and their outermost regions, we recently reviewed the fleet renewal guidelines for the outermost regions. Priority 4 recognizes that solid marine knowledge is a necessity for Europe's sovereignty and autonomy. And President von der Leyen was very clear on this aspect of the European Ocean Pact. With the Ocean Eye announced this morning by the President, we will reinforce our observation capabilities, including through global cooperation. With the European Strategy for Ocean Research and Innovation, we will translate ocean knowledge into market-ready solutions that bolster our strategic autonomy and competitiveness. There is no doubt that the ocean is key for Europe's security, particularly in the current geopolitical context. In that respect, the Action Plan on Undersea Cable Security and the Action Plan on Drones and Counter-Drone Security, with a strong maritime and underwater leg, will play an important role, and so will the continued implementation of the EU Maritime Security Strategy. Under Priority 6, we will deliver a strategic framework for our fisheries external action, modernizing our sustainable fisheries partnership agreements, reinforcing our engagement in regional fisheries management organizations, leading the entry into force of the High Seas Treaty, and strengthening our policy to address illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing. Under the latter, catch, the first digital system for checking fishing certificates, introduced on the 10th of January 2026, is a very important step. In the context of the ocean diplomacy, a key role will also be played by the forthcoming EU Arctic Strategy update, as well as the Pact for the Mediterranean and the Black Sea Strategy adopted last year. The legal component of the Ocean Pact will be the forthcoming Ocean Act, which will help coordinate and simplify the regulatory landscape linked to the ocean. The High-Level Ocean Board, which we are in the process of establishing, will help monitor the implementation of the Ocean Pact, while the forthcoming EU Ocean Pact dashboard will provide a public, transparent platform to track progress. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, there is a single thread, a shared conviction tying these initiatives together. Europe must be a global ocean power, not only in geography, but also in responsibility, innovation, and leadership. So let us make the European Ocean Days not only a forum for discussions, but a catalyst for decisive action. Let's work together for a sustainable and thriving ocean, for our communities, for our European Union, for the entire world. Thank you for your attention.
Commissioner Cadiz, thank you very much. Interesting, because just before we started the official opening, we did ask the audience to give their priorities for the future of the oceans. And yes, there was correlation, wasn't there? We saw a lot of the same priorities coming up and what we see there. So thank you very much. It's true that a lot of the work also happens at the European Parliament. And let's now get the perspective from members of the European Parliament. I'd like to start with a video message, in fact, from Carmen Crespo-Diaz, MEP, of course, and Chair of the Committee on Fisheries. And hopefully we have a video message from Carmen Crespo-Diaz. Just waiting for the sound. We do have the subtitles.
Lo que puede ser las cuestiones medioambientales, las cuestiones económicas y obviamente el océano es vital para Europa. Gracias, Presidenta, gracias, Comisario, y también a todo el sector. Porque los océanos son, desde el punto de vista transversal, importantísimos para toda Europa. Fundamentalmente en lo que puede ser las cuestiones medioambientales, las cuestiones económicas y obviamente la necesidad que tenemos en algunos sectores de ir mejorando. Creo que en estos momentos tenemos una oportunidad única, esa oportunidad única que tiene Europa de no importar el 70% del pescado que consume, que es una proteína saludable, y poder, a través de esta semana de océano y una ley de océano que estaremos al lado del comisario, poder desarrollar la capacidad para alimentar a todos los europeos con estas proteínas saludables sin necesidad de tantísima importación al respecto. Creo además que hay que cambiar también nuestras leyes para flexibilizarlas. La política pesquera común, el plan del Mediterráneo, la capacidad que tenemos, en este caso económica, a través del marco financiero, son elementos que en estos momentos se están estudiando, especialmente en el Comité de Pesca. ¿Por qué? Porque necesitamos herramientas. Esa herramienta antes era el FEMPA y ahora deben ser los suficientes recursos. Se ha pedido a través del Comité de Pesca 7.500 millones para poder desarrollar la política pesquera de descarbonización, de incorporación de jóvenes, de medidas costeras que den oportunidades a la pesca y a todo el sistema costero europeo. Creo que tenemos mucho que celebrar, pero también tenemos mucho que hacer. La puesta en práctica de todo lo que nos hemos planteado creo que es fundamental. Y es el momento de dar el espaldarazo a los océanos, por supuesto a través del Pacto de los Océanos, pero también a los sectores productivos que dependen de ellos, especialmente un sector productivo loable que multiplica por mucho, en estos casos, lo que se le da para poder dinamizar las zonas costeras y para tener una profesión que aporta proteínas saludables a todos los europeos y que merece la pena estar a su lado por la soberanía alimentaria y también por la actividad económica loable, histórica, perteneciente a la Unión, que es básica también para el futuro. Celebremos esta semana con oportunidades, pero también con retos de futuro que todos lo tenemos que hacer juntos. Parlamento, Comisión, Consejo y, por supuesto, siempre al lado del comisario para seguir trabajando juntos. Los pescadores esperan mucho de nosotros y están a la espera de las decisiones que podamos tomar. Siempre nos incluyen oportunidades y esas oportunidades van a través de normas, de leyes, de oportunidades de simplificación. El ómnibus de pesca no puede ser una cuestión baladí, sino es un tema fundamental para poder seguir trabajando en el reglamento de control, en poder seguir trabajando en las leyes y planes. Tenemos que tener un ómnibus específico para la pesca, porque esto va a permitir que toda la actividad sea sostenible, pero al mismo tiempo de oportunidades a no decaer en un sector que es fundamental.
Video message from Carmen Crespo Diaz, and let's now get the perspective from Christophe Clergeau, MEP, Vice President of the S&D Group in the European Parliament, Chair of CERECA as well. Christophe Clergeau, thank you very much.
Good morning to all, dear Commissioner, dear Ministers, dear colleagues from European Parliament. It's my pleasure to be there with you on behalf of CERECA Intergroup, because we are a transpartisan intergroup, and Isabelle Kalenek here is one of the members of the board of this intergroup, and we are trying to have some blue elements in all public policies in European Union and in European Parliament, and it's not easy to achieve. 15 years ago, my first trip in Brussels as regional councillor was to try to save the shipyards that are supposed to be closed. And in my region, my shipyard is now a key actor for shipbuilding, but also for renewable energy, but also for shipbuilding of green boats with wind propulsion. And when I see what happened these last 2 years, a lot of things have changed. For the first time, ocean is at the heart of a European agenda. And I would like to acknowledge the leadership of Ursula von der Leyen, of course, and of Commissioner Cadiz, to have been able to propose and to achieve that blue agenda. But now, we just have to remember that oceans are at risk, and that there is a risk to forget the ocean in the next months, because we are always the little thing in the global agenda, and obviously when we are facing so dangerous period. We have reached a turning point, that was your words, Commissioner, and now we have to come from Ocean Pact to concrete action to climb one more step together. When we will meet again in 1 year, the moment we will not be anymore to deal with perspective, but just to look at what we will have been able to achieve or not. We need a geopolitical ocean union. And I think Ocean Eye, presented by Ursula von der Leyen, is a key element at international level if we really want to rely on marine data and to tackle the decisions made by Donald Trump. We need also cooperation with third countries and with Africa. And we are delighted to have now IPOS, as Catherine Chabot mentioned. But we also really need to have maritime dimension at the core of European security and defense. And I fear it could be forgotten. So we need, yes, to talk about naval defense, about our military ports, and about critical infrastructures. In the next days, we will discover new European strategies, the Commissioner mentioned. And in the Parliament, we are all fighting for an ambitious ports and maritime industry strategies, but to have concrete outputs, to have this industrial alliance advocated by the sector, by the private sector, to have an action plan and not only a strategy. And for example, to be able to build again some green ferries in Europe, to regain soft share markets. And when we are dealing with ports, we would really like to have capacity to support any kind of port in Europe in the diversity and, for example, to really, give a focus to middle-sized ports in Europe that are so key in our regions. And then when we are dealing with island and coastal areas and outermost region, the concrete question now is about habitability, quality of life in front of climate change and day-to-day life difficulties. Then, two last elements, Ocean Act and budget, money. My friend Carmen Crespo began to talk about money. Ocean Act should be a game changer and a key enabler because we have a problem of credibility. We are far from the 30 objective. We are far from the good environmental status of ocean. So now we need a concrete path to be able to demonstrate with credibility that we can go quicker and we can achieve these international and European objectives on which we are not able to deliver at a good level of success. Yes, I share the approach of my colleagues that we need a single governance tool to achieve both environmental status of ocean and sustainable blue economy in Ocean Act, merging MSPD and MSFD. But we need also to hear from the NGOs their fears. Because in this Europe, when we are talking about simplification, everybody understands deregulation. And a lot of NGOs just want to protect MSFD as a key framework to have concrete and precise environmental goals. So I really think we can build something new together by merging MSFD and MSPD, but we need to answer to these fears and to give guarantees that environmental objectives won't be diluted in the Ocean Act. And last but not least, in the Ocean Act, we should set an ocean mainstreaming principle to be sure that the ocean dimension will be really taken into account in any type of initiative or legislation in the next years. And obviously, the first priority to have maritime mainstreaming is MFF. Because, yes, I am fighting with my colleagues to secure money for the future of fisheries. But if we are only dealing with MFAF or decarbonization of the fleet, we will have just a focus on a part of what should be addressed in MFF. We need blue priorities in every budget and every public policies. Just one example, if we want to achieve the mobilization of 10% of European Competitiveness Fund to support all the maritime issues, we have a lot to do to convince our colleagues, the commissioners, the Council and the MEPs to converge in link with these objectives. With my team, we consider that we should mobilize 120 billion euros in the next MFF to double the percentage of mobilization of the MFF to come to 3 in the current one to 6. Will we be able to achieve that? This is a question. I hope these Ocean Days will give a part of the answer. And then when we will meet again in Cyprus for European Maritime Days, we will be able to see what we have been able to achieve altogether. Thank you very much.
Christophe Clégeot, thank you very much. Great to have the perspective from the European Parliament. Of course, everybody involved in moving things forward. Great to have those insights. And really, it's feeding into the overall discussion, isn't it? Hopefully triggering some of the reflection we need as we look forward to some of these great panels happening over the coming week. And a lot of these issues are going to be covered in these panels, drilling down into the information, deep diving, I like to say, into a lot of these issues. I think we would all agree that it was great to be on the ocean at the start of this session today, this opening session. It was great to be lulled with this amazing music. And I'd like to call back MK onto the stage. to continue our journey, to take us towards the coffee break in about 10 minutes' time. MK, take it away. Thank you very much.